Yo, what's up, diggity dogs? Give me a high five! Yesterday we ranked most of the total drama characters / its dramatis personae. And this decision to do this huge ranking was done on a whim. Like yesterday I saw a tweet saying name Canadian cartoons that aren't Angela Anaconda or what was it? Or Johnny Test. So I decided to make this entire list out of spite. I mean, just like prove them wrong, like just because I really love Canadian cartoons as well. Like, I think this is like 84 in total. I counted it painstakingly. And also, like I said, Canada is one of my favorite nations for animation besides the obvious and Francia. But before we start, here are the ones that I never seen, know next to nothing about, or never heard of. Really sorry if you, I could already hear some of you guys in the comments going, "What? You don't know that cartoon? You monster!" Well, terribly sorry I don't know about these cartoons, but anyway, let's move on. Ranking nearly 100 Canadian cartoons. Franklin and Friends. Well, I mean, in terms of and Friends cartoons, you're never going to get better than Charlie and Friends. But Franklin and Friends, I mean, the original was a classic, awesome. I'm just going to put that in C tier because the original show was A tier, but this one's a cheap CGI reboot, so C tier. I don't know what Nickelodeon was thinking when they did that. Caillou. That is a super nostalgic cartoon for me. I think I have one or two things on DVD of it, but I can't find them. And as I said last time it was on one of these tier lists, it is just one of the most overhated cartoons in existence. I mean, I can tell that some people can find it obnoxious, but come on, it's a show for little kids. Come on. Caillou, overhated, not that good, but not really that good to begin with. Jane the Dragon. I mean, it's basically G-rated Khaleesi and Drogon, so B tier, but also I like the show. I remember it was like a decent enough fantasy show, but I also like it because it's Reboot and Transformers Beast Wars were the pioneers of CGI, but this is one of the better, like, early CGI cartoons, decent enough. Kind of reminds me of, like, a mid-2000s CRPG, like Gothic or something like that. My Dad the Rockstar, this, I don't really remember this being Canadian, but B tier because it was entertaining a lot. I need to quickly take a sip of my big gulp that I bought a few minutes ago. That's a good big gulp. Stormhawks A tier. I mean, for the art style, basically makes it look like a PG version of Borderlands. I mean, it was a badass enough sci-fi setting. Really wish I knew more about it. I really got to look it up. It's done by the Ocean Dubbing Group, who we'll see a lot here. I love the Ocean Dubbing Group. They did my favorite Christian cartoon, Superbook, X-Men Evolution, Death Note, Dragon Ball Z, My Little we'll see a lot of those. We'll see a lot of those later. But yeah, Stormhawks, great sci-fi action show. I hope to talk about it later. Chop Socky Chooks. The funny thing, this is actually British, and not only is it British, but it's from the same guys that brought us Wallace and Gromit. Another thing, I remember like when I was 7 or 8, I was obsessed with this show. I would stay up until 9 a.m. I would, despite my parents' bullshit objection, I would stay up until 9:30 in the morning watching this show when it came out. And then when it stopped airing, I literally forgot about it, and for like half a decade, then some guy brought it up, and I have no idea how I managed to forget about it. Also, it takes place in an obscenely giant mall, which is something that appears in my dreams a lot, so A tier for reminding me of that. Team Galaxy, it's marathon media. I'm too out of shape to run a marathon, so B tier. And also, it looks like it just seems like it looks like it fits too well with the other marathon shows, Martin Mystery, Totally Spies. So B tier because I wish I watched it more. Braceface, Braceface, more like Metal Mouth, more like Chrome Dome. Chrome Dome. And there was some weird episode Saber Sparks talked about, so B tier for being relatable, but not A tier because the intro sucks, apparently. Putting that in a B tier. Busy Town Mysteries, that seems like, I mean, some cookie jar media calling that logo B tier for nostalgia, not A tier because it's, seems like your standard cookie cutter, like children's book popular children's book turned into a PBS Kids cartoon. Ed, and Eddie. I mean, S tier, that's not just a classic Canadian cartoon, it's a classic, a cartoon. You know, that era, Codename Kids Next Door, Courage Cowardly Dog. I mean, just like this is one of the most classic comedic trios in Western animation. Basically the predecessor to Junior, Cody, and Joseph, as we all know. But yeah, this show goes without saying. Packages from Planet X, C tier. It's basically a guy with an Amazon addiction being given his own show, C tier. In fact, part of me actually thought this was, I know this is a fictional show, but this is a real show. It's literally just product placement or something. Rated A for awesome. For some reason, like, it had the same art style as League of Super Evil, but it aired on Disney Channel. It looks still like it's just CGI, it's literally just CGI Phineas and Ferb, but Canadian, C tier. Despite being called A, it's only a C. That's more like rated C for crappy, am I right? Total Drama World Tour, that was an 8. I'm going to put all the Total Drama seasons in S tier. Yin Yang Yo, that is like one of the few times a Teletoon cartoon managed to actually get big, so S tier. And from the creator of Wow Wow Wubsy, who also worked on Danny Phantom and Fairly Odd Parents, I think. But yeah, Yin Yang Yo was awesome. Great action, great voice cast. And another tidbit, the voice of Martin Roach, the voice of the Panda mentor before Kung Fu Panda, he was in The Shape of Water as the husband to Octavia Spencer. Great. The show is still underrated, and also has bunnies in it. Detention Air, great story-based cartoon, great East Asian representation, great mystery. Its art style is basically just grossology and 16. And I feel like this is a good example of how even these Canadian cartoons can do something like serious, dark and serialized. Really wish I watched it more. Miss Spider, Sunny Patch Kids, C tier. It's nostalgic, but not that much. Stick to Growing Up Creepy or Hollow Knight or Hermie and Friends because it's Christian. The Day Why My Butt Went Psycho I can already tell from a title like that it wasn't made for kids, it was made by kids. Franny's Feet, F for foot fetishes, ew. I think this is Transformers, so A tier, Transformers, Beast Machines. It looks like it's just a sequel to Beast Wars. That's not a Transformers Beastars, so A tier because not S tier because it's not Transformers Beastars, the one with David K's Megatron. Roly Oly Poly, it's from the same author as George Shrink's great 50s dated vision of the future, B tier. Spider Riders.
Ain't this scary spider gone?
C for arachnophobia. Little Bear, that seems to be... Okay, that show was awesome, like, those books were awesome. It's the voice of Bridget from Total Drama voicing her. Bears are all badass. And it really manages to capture the storybook aesthetic, zen feel to it, A tier. Almost Naked Animals, I can't believe it took me 8 years, after 8 years of speculation, one day I finally found out that the main character was voiced by Hagane Jinka from Beyblade Metal Fusion. Quite the discovery, and also this is a kind of, with a title like that, you could just tell this is a very lowbrow cartoon. It's basically like, I mean, Teletoon. I mean, people always say like, I'm sorry to stereotype Teletoon, but it's just like how many cartoons they have, how blatantly low production qualities there are, and how simplistic their concepts are, like lowbrow their concepts are. You could just tell, like, I mean, these shows just like, I mean, they're quantity over quality, like not terrible, but not really that memorable each. Wayside, they had Michael Cera voicing. I mean, it's nothing like the books, and apparently they had Michael Cera voiced from Scott Pilgrim voicing the world, versing him. So A tier. And Principal Kidswatter was easily the best part of the show. He was hilarious. And we all wished we went to a school that was tall instead of that would have been awesome if we went to a school that was 30 stories tall instead of 30 rooms. League of Super Evil, yo, you know that new cartoon show Villainous from Mexico? It's based. This show did it first, and I mean it has that same Borderlands art style as the Graded A for Awesome, but B tier because it's kind of like a shallow cartoon, shallow parody of like villains. So B tier. Babar elephants are B because it's Babar. I remember one episode that was pretty good, very lighthearted, so and it was kind of a cute cartoon, so B tier. But it's only in B tier because monarchies aren't really as good as democracies. Total Drama, S tier, still S tier. Monster My Mistake, someone who shall not be named talked about, remind me of that show, B tier because early CGI, stoner. Maggie and the Ferocious Beast, A tier, classic Nick Jr. cartoon. Skyland, A tier, that is another criminally underrated show. And apparently it's part Franime, brilliant premise of like the Skyland guys with psychic powers. I mean, it's basically just Star Wars, but super awesome cartoon. Really wish won some awards. Really like these shows like this. And the entire series is on YouTube. Like about 90% of these cartoons. Hopefully you can check it out. And but only not S tier because I never really watch it. I just know it's Pippi Longstocking. My mom once mentioned that, so D tier because my mom liked it. Angela Anaconda, that's D tier because everyone hates that show. And apparently there was a Digimon crossover. D-Gata Defenders, A tier for introducing me that even Luxembourg has its own franime. Yeah, this is I mean, it's a one of those toy cartoons based off of Dice. Okay, I've never actually seen any of it, but it looks like a cool action fantasy cartoon. I mean, A tier for putting faith in the new idea of CGI cartoons. It's from the creators of Reboot and was a founder of memes. I never played the Donkey Kong games, but apparently there was that like checkpoint of the internet thing based off of one of the songs from the game. Great song. Atomic Betty, B tier. Despite the fact that people call this a Cartoon Network cartoon, originally, first time I heard about it was on the Hub. And seems to be like a very shallow idea of space cartoon. Franklin, the original, A tier. It's totally enough for this thing. Gotta take another sip of my big gulp. And it's also an A tier because in the vein of the birch strips, they have the parody covers for the things. George of the Jungle. Apparently there was that weird I never really heard of the film, but like apparently it had a few funny moments. The main character is voiced by friggin' Makuta from Bionicle. That was hilarious in hindsight. It had a lot of funny moments, so B tier because it also had that weird reboot on YouTube people were talking about for some reason. Gerald McBoing Boing, F for being nothing but annoying noises. Garage Band, I mean, despite being similar to so many other shows on this, it's actually one of the few that was made by the same guys as Total Drama. And it's basically just Total Drama with slightly younger characters, and is also a lot of funny moments, but even though it's formulaic. And actually, this is the honorary Most Canadian Award, being a young rock band. It's a cheap flash animation from the creators of Total Drama. Yep, A tier for being the honorary Most Canadian Award. Spliced, okay, I never heard of that. Hot Wheels Battle Force 5, Hot Wheels were awesome. And the name titled Battle Force 5 is also awesome. And if you want really good racing media, stick with Talladega Nights and Owan Star Racers, really. Pirate Express, really wish I heard more about this cartoon. A tier, and there's also this screenshot that I found of it. Make of that what you will. Johnny Test. The most overhated cartoon ever. I mean, sorry, but this is an A tier. There's nothing you can do to change my mind about it. The main character is voiced by Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, the whip crack, I mean, it was over. I mean, people were grossly exaggerating the thing about the whip crack sound effect. But this cartoon just has, and it's from the creator of Ned's Declassified and Big Time Rush. But yeah, A tier Johnny Test. This has such a distinct style that I can't forget about it. Max and Ruby, but more bunnies, A tier, because I wish I found the DVD that I had for it. I mean, it's on Paramount Plus, but too lazy for that. I can't believe Max didn't have any dialogue. And also Ruby was voiced by Sailor Mars from Sailor Moon, so that's good. Pinata, D for uncanny for being kind of creepy. Mega Babies, F tier for being gross. Yeah. I mean, I saw like the review of it. Trust me, you don't. I mean, it is just crosses the line. Monster Buster Club. The characters look creepy. It's just another Monster of the Week cartoon. Yeah. Metajets. A tier, I remember because I thought it was really cool. I really like sci-fi fighters, dog fighting, like airplane fights. I remember I used to watch a show every Saturday morning, like 10 years ago, like when I was, like back when I went to bed at the bullshit time of like 8 p.m. I can't believe I did that, and then woke up way too early at 6 a.m. I mean, nowadays I go to bed at 2 a.m. in the morning and wake up at 10 a.m. without fail every single morning, like a boss. Mona the Vampire, B tier because that just looks cute. The Amazing Spies, a spin-off from what was it? Totally Spies. A tier. I mean, this show is criminally underrated compared to its original show. Also, not only is it criminally underrated, I remember I found this show once again, like during last semester, the second semester of my sophomore year of college, where I also made Dean's List again, watched a few episodes. This show is still underrated. Looped, it's guy stuck in a Groundhog's Day loop, just like Madoka Magica or Groundhog's Day or Steins Gate or whatever other anime you're thinking about. Pearly, this series gets an F! Ruby Gloom, S tier. That is the most adorable show of all time. The Zeitgeist of the cutesy, perky god cartoon. Like a few others on this list, that should be on this list. One of my favorite cartoons of all time, in my top 20. Really awesome. 3 Delivery. I'm pretty sure this is not a Canadian cartoon, but it has anime voice actresses like Stephanie Shea and Johnny Young Bosch. Really wish I found the show again. It was like, I mean, one of the most, easily the most underrated era of cartoons was the late 2000s Nicktoons, like 3 Delivery, some Wolverine and the X-Men, some other NFL Rush show. Like, that was like when action cartoons were in, like Voltron Force, Z-Force, something, Donald Trump's Space Force, like those Force cartoons, they were completely they were criminally underrated action cartoons in the era. Rocket Monkeys, C tier, lowbrow. Then the entire cartoon was a plan by the evil spaceman to send monkeys into the desert to starve to death. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. S tier, I'm going to say it, I am a brony. I mean, I thought I was only a brony during seasons 2 and 3, but yes, I'm a full-on brony. Twilight is the best pony / alicorn / unicorn / princess. And the brony fandom is the most legendary cartoon fandom in history. The future is wild. I mean, I really miss the era of whatever it is, oh yeah, Discovery Kids, not really sure if that's Canadian, it's based off of another show, but B tier. Martha Speaks, B tier. I think I discussed this like 2 times already. Decent enough. I mean, how are you really trying to make a cartoon out of a short book about a dog that learned how to talk by eating alphabet soup? Ricky Sprocket, Showbiz Boy, you know, when we look at Ricky Sprocket today, he is most likely in prison, like 90%, like most child stars, so B tier. Stoked, out of between a Total Drama 16 and some other, like this, the art style is literally just 16, but this is easily the weakest, so like there are Total Drama clones and that umbrella, easily the weakest, not really much of a surfer guy. Also, I mean, I was on vacation last week, as you might know from following my Twitter. I nearly broke my neck body surfing, so that's why it's in C tier. 7 Little Monsters, this was a very wholesome cartoon. A tier, I mean, like I think like on an episode pack that I had of George Shrinks every 1 or 2 episodes, based off of a nostalgic kids cartoon, so a book or something, so A tier. And it's funny that she was so lazy she named her children numbers. Like, I mean, this isn't Codename Kids Next Door or the Umbrella Academy, so A tier because that's funny. My Life Me. I mean, I was considering whether or not this is a proper tier list, but then I saw this one again. My Life Me, the second most underrated cartoon of all time besides WITCH. My Life Me, this is the perfect anime-esque franime. I love French cartoons, I love Canadian anime. This show is awesome, perfectly captures what it's like what high school is like. Wait, I just got a text. My mom, sorry, I'm recording, you can wait 10 minutes, I don't have any charge left. Sorry guys, that's my mom, apparently I'm being too loud. She can't tell me what to do. Jimmy Two Shoes, that reminds me of a joke where, like, my mama was so poor she walked down the road with one shoe. And he was going to ask him if I lost a shoe, he just says, no, I found one. A tier for basically just being Canadian proto hell of a ball / has-been hotel, hashtag whatever you want to call it. Okay, Jimmy Two Shoes, yeah, that show was awesome. Like the idealistic weirdo in an extremely cynical world, like, great example of it. Harry and his bucket full of dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are awesome, so A tier. And I also like buckets. Apparently Homestuck. Okay, I was too young to remember that cartoon, and apparently it was on Cubo, and that's another reason why I'm so upset about Cubo being shut down. Camp Lake Bottom, B tier. I mean, it's basically just Camp or Camp Laszlo, or like whatever show you want to do about like a rundown summer camp, so B tier. 16, A tier. I mean, it's not as good as Total Drama, but it is a classic teen cartoon, young adult cartoon. I mean, that is a classic gang. You cannot go wrong with that show. And there was the lame vote special where they Canadians told Americans to vote condescendingly or something. Also, it's A tier because it's set in a mall, and as you all know, I'm a sucker for gigantic malls, which are awesome. Total Drama Action, it's still Total Drama, still S tier. Edgar and Ellen, S tier. I mean, it's another one of those like mid-2000s Canadian goth cartoons. And I remember I watched this shit when my parents recorded this show on their TV. Like, I watched it for like an hour straight or something. I just love like the two tricksters like trying to just cause chaos for the sake of it. It's hilarious. Also, the whole series is on YouTube or something. Go check it out. It's awesome. And also, it's based off of a kid's book that I wish I read growing up. Looks like one of those like dark, creepy kids books that we all like that you'd always find at your library or other kids reading. Chaotic. Looks like B tier for looking like every other like mom's card game cartoon. And it's made by Konami, and as we all know, fuck Konami for what they did to Hideo Kojima. Martin Mystery, A tier. Basically just the male's version of, what was it, Totally Spies. Kid vs. Cat. I mean, it's basically just a Canadian Invader Zim and / Tom and Jerry, but like super watered down, not really that memorable. It's basically just Invader Zim, but G-rated, which is exactly how you ruin Invader Zim, so B tier, but inoffensively forgettable. Nunchucks, more like Dum-Dums, F tier. JoJo's Circus. What joke am I going to make? Also A tier because it's stop motion. Stop motion is criminally underrated. Reboot, I never watched that show that much, but A tier because it's a revolutionary CGI cartoon. The Berenstain Bears, this show is a B, but it's pretty much just a classic like like Zen anthropomorphic animals, a morality tales cartoon. But what's funny is the fact that because people are apparently are illiterate, they think that it's a part of a huge grand conspiracy. Like, you guys are weirdos. Redakai Conquer the Kairu, this is just an... Hey look, another Franime, B tier because the name sounds badass. Rescue Heroes, I own a DVD that somehow still works, and also, it's just, you know, it's just a generic toy cartoon, C. Sidekick, I mean, if you want a good superhero cartoon, do X-Men Evolution or Hero Elementary. We all belong in Hero Elementary. Scaredy Squirrel, C tier, wasn't really that good or memorable. Super Y, D tier. Beast Wars, S tier. One of my second favorite. I mean, one of the best. A lot of people call this the best Transformers cartoon. I mean, for me, it's Cybertron, but S tier anyway. Totally Spies. I gave that S tier last time. I'm running out of energy. Arthur, very sad that that is getting cancelled. A tier PBS Kids cartoon. And great. Like, I mean, this was the face of PBS Kids alongside Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Sesame Street. And as if, as a blessing from above, our final cartoon is the classic Gonna go wild, Wildcrats, gonna go wild, Wildcrats, gonna go wild, Wildcrats, go wild, Wildcrats! S tier Wildcrats, I have gussed about this show long enough. You know why it's number 1. S tier, so there is my ranking for nearly 100 Canadian cartoons. See you guys on the creature trail.